For today's cup of coffee.
Cup of coffee.
Fresh hell incoming.
Fresh hell.
Yeah, we're recording this on July the 24th, 2024 at 8:44 p.m.
I loves it.
And they had all these riots there in Washington, D.C., and that they had Benjamin Netanyahu had visited, and it was alleged that people had gone into one of the places he was supposed to meet and had done these things, had like maggots and mealworms and just totally, yeah.
That's gross.
Mm-hmm.
And what
we got some gross people out there.
And what was it? It was some restaurant they were supposed to eat at?
And I think it was their hotel or something like that. It may have been the dining area, the picture that I had seen of it. I'm sure you can find it on X. And honestly, for right now, X is the leading news source. That's not just me saying that. They have, I don't know, whatever kind of analytics that they do. And that's one of the reasons that some of the mainstream media hates it. Because you do have a lot of independent journalists out there.
Yeah.
And you've got, it's like, oh, people are wrong. Well, mainstream media.
Yeah. Like the mainstream media actually tells the truth?
Yeah. I mean, no, because again, back in the Obama time, he made it legal to use propaganda against the American people. That's fact. That's history. All people have to do is put forth a little bit of effort.
Yeah.
But we have people who do not want to put forth much effort these days. They want to be amused. They want to all this other stuff. And it is one of those that I think on one of the, it wasn't in the, I was trying to think where it was exactly, the location. It wasn't near the Capitol. Let me see if I can find it. But it was there in D.C., close enough to the Capitol, and that National Guard could have been called out. This could have been dealt with. This was allowed to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And that there are people, because everyone with a cell phone is an independent journalist.
Right.
And again, some of these people were bussed in for this event. If you watch as far as the cops, they had been neutered. That's all you can say. Totally, completely neutered. Now, some of these people were abusing the cops, beating the cops, whatever like that. They did pepper spray some of them, which was absolutely fucking hilarious.
Good, it's deserved.
One of them, honest to God, was in there going, "Medic!" And I'm like, are you serious?
Medic, when you try to assault someone.
Absolutely. And that there was this one source that had said that a handful of the people that were taking role in the riots, that they had a member who was a parent who was a member of Congress.
Oh?
Uh-huh. We've got serious problems.
Interesting.
We have some really, really serious problems.
Yeah.
And I don't care whether you like Netanyahu or not, or whether you like Israel or not. I don't give a shit. This was a world leader.
Yes.
They would never have done this to any other world leader.
No. Well.
None.
They tried to execute former president.
That has nothing to do with that, because it's the same group that's doing this. I mean, let's face it, as far as Newsom there in California, he actually had cleaned up the entire area so that President Xi could visit. And then it went back to how it was. Because we have serious problems.
Mm-hmm. This shit runs deep.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And this is spiritual warfare.
We need a deep cleaning, a deep detox.
Yeah. Yeah. And
A
like
hot
I said,
soak in the bath to get the worms out.
just because this is what we see on the superficial earthly plane. We have no clue of what's going on other levels.
Spiritual worms?
Possibly. I don't know. Anyhow, and it's like to find out that whatever fuckery as far as Pluto is going to be opposing Leo for the next 19 years. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just weary. There's a lot of us that are weary.
19 years?
Yeah. But
What
they
does
were
that
talking
mean,
about
opposing?
as far as some of it was supposed to be 2 to 3 years. Oh, wow.
What does that mean, opposing Leo?
It's the opposite of it.
So that means it's going against it.
Go on X, look up Palace Pepper. And she can explain this stuff because that's where I'm getting my sources from.
Palace
That or
Pepper.
you can, it would be great if Robert Phoenix would put some of this stuff in like little bite-sized pieces because my ability to, gather and understand information is compromised
Can
right
you
now.
explain it to us like we're 5?
Yeah. I like that saying. I'm going to use it lots because that is, brain breakage. For so many years. Yeah, I mean, you can only do this shit for so many years.
Yeah.
So that's the reason my tone's a little more serious than it normally is.
Well, I looked up Palace Pepper. I'm not finding anything.
She's right there on X.
That's where I am. Is it
Pallas.
Pallas? Okay, so I was
Pepper.
spelling Palace wrong.
Right. It's like the star constellation and stuff like that.
Okay.
And she can explain some of these things. But she had also been talking about Jordan Peterson did an interview with Elon Musk a few days ago. And I thought that she was saying that it was really, difficult for her to listen to. And I don't even think that she could. It was just the energy of it. Not everybody can deal with certain energies at certain times. It's not, you just have to be aware of what's going on within yourself. Don't force it.
Yeah.
And especially not right now. If you're on overload, do not make it harder on yourself. But I have listened over the years, hours and hours and hours of Jordan Peterson.
Mm-hmm.
But this was usually in a lecture type thing that he was doing some kind of talk or presentation. And Peterson has, and I don't agree with everything that he says. I don't agree with everything that anybody says.
Right. I mean, you can't.
I'm an independent thinker.
Yeah.
And I have oppositional defiant disorder. But I was very interested to hear what Elon Musk, had thought about a lot of different things. Let me go back and backtrack just a little bit. Peterson was a clinical psychologist and professor there in Canada. And his rise to fame was not something that he ever sought. He refused to capitulate when the government told him he had to alter language.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, no.
It's like, why should he?
Right. Why should anybody? Why should anybody?
Yeah.
And this is part of this spiritual warfare. When you have some kind of governing body that tells you what you can or cannot say, and that there are severe punishments if you do speak the wrong words, that's evil. That is dark magic. It's exactly what that is. And it's going on everywhere. People may not understand. They're like, why is all this stuff happening? Because they don't understand the ritual magic that has been going on for years. They're just like, oh, well, did you see so-and-so's performance the other day? That was really weird. Now, the one you want to watch about all that stuff that is brilliant at explaining all that stuff is Robert Phoenix.
Because he does the tinfoil hat stuff too.
Oh my God, he can go down rabbit holes for days because he has done these things for years.
Yeah.
He's an incredibly intelligent man.
He is.
and that he has a memory that, and as far as connecting dots and stuff like that, and there's stuff that he says a lot of times that I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
Not because that he's trying to be mean, but because it has pulled the veil away from some of the people that I admired.
Right, and that's always difficult to deal with, you know?
It is. It is. And there's some days I deal with it easier than others. And it, you know, it's not like I idolize anybody.
Mm-hmm. But looking up to someone and idolizing them is different.
Right. Right. You know, everybody needs someone as far as, it's like, okay, I would like to aspire towards this goal. How did this person do this? This is why these people do write some of these books.
Right.
To sit there, and Peterson wrote a book, and I can't think of the name of it right now, but that it helped millions of men across this planet because he became a surrogate father figure, because men have been under attack for years now by this cursed, harpy, dark, it is a perversion of the feminine divine. And personally, the way that my setup is, I despise it. I loathe it. Because I see it for the evil that it is. It is just because you think that you have the power to hurt somebody else. Guess what? That's not power.
No.
That's wickedness.
It's evil.
It is evil. And you've had, especially a lot of these young women that have been totally deceived. They don't realize how this stuff works. If you do evil, it will come back on you. It's like we were talking to our buddy Omega today, and as far as some of these people that start dabbling in the occult and doing this and that and the other, it doesn't matter whether there is power there. But if you harm someone else, guess what? That comes back on you sevenfold. And it can come back in ways that you would never even recognize it. Sickness, disease, loss, all this stuff. People are like, why is my world going to hell? Well, what did you do?
Yeah. It's like, what did you do to...
That's why it's best leave it.
Yeah.
Don't mess with it.
Just pray.
Yeah. Let God be God.
Yeah.
Because he sees what we can't. He understands what we can't.
Yeah, and if you don't understand, ask for understanding.
Yeah. That's the whole point of having a higher power.
And sometimes he's like, it's not meant for you to understand right
Absolutely. I think he's done that to me for quite a while, except for coffee. He's letting me have my coffee. But Peterson has interviewed, he's part of Daily Wire now, which is Ben Shapiro's, and it does have Matt Walsh. I've expressed my opinions on Matt Walsh. It's got that other little guy, Michael Knowles is his name. And it's like there is such a fractioning of everything going on right now. Businesses, all this stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of this stuff is by design. And it's like, it's incredible how that you have people that you would think that they're your friend, or and a lot of times I've heard it reported as far as relatives and stuff like that. It used to be that you could agree to disagree, but now you've got people that are willing to totally destroy relationships because of somebody's view on a particular subject.
Yeah, it's all or nothing.
It's zealotry.
Yeah.
It has taken on a religious fervor.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that a lot of those people that were predicting things about religious this and that and the other, they didn't take into account the new religions. Because we've got a whole lot of new ones out there. And their deity is not a higher power.
No.
A lot of these deities are humans. And whatever the force of evil that is driving these humans. Remember, the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. It's pretty basic.
Yep.
If you see somebody that is doing the devil's work by stealing, killing, and destroying, You pretty much can tell which side they're on.
Yep.
This is why we try to do some of the positive messages and stuff. But, what? Go ahead.
I was going to say we do our best.
Yeah. But the interview with Peterson and Elon Musk, and it lasted like 2 hours and 15 minutes.
You were struggling with it because you said
struggled horribly.
It was like a competition between the two, or at least on Jordan Peterson's end it was.
Yeah. And I don't know if something has happened to him, because the amount of stress and strain that this man has been under for years, not only as far as social pressures, and I know that Canada at one point was going to, or they did, strip him of his professional licensure, which was his life's work. It's like I don't think that he has practiced clinical psychiatry for quite a while now. I don't think that he could, or it may be in psychology, one or the other. Psychiatry has to have a medical degree with it, so he was a clinical psychologist.
Right.
And so I don't know, but it's still, it's like saying, oh, you no longer own what you worked for your whole life. We're going to strip this away from you just because we can.
It ain't right.
No, it's not right.
I mean, that in of itself, you're trying to take away someone's freedom of speech right there.
Absolutely, they're doing that. That's going on lots of places. There's been many people that have been harmed over the past several years.
But they don't want people telling the truth.
No.
They don't want people speaking out against them.
Because the truth sets people free.
Yeah, exactly. They don't want people to be free. They want them to continuously, like, be chained. Chained slaves.
Indoctrinated.
Yeah.
And it is horrifying how many people actually are. It truly is.
We need to break the generational curses.
Absolutely. And to pray that God will, break those generational curses. But within and it's like, I haven't listened to Elon Musk speak that much. I just haven't. I haven't taken the time to.
Right.
So I was highly interested to sit down and listen to what Jordan Peterson, this exchange. And I was highly disappointed. Not in what Elon said. It was like, and I'm not trying to make excuses for Peterson. I'm trying to reconcile in my mind what could have happened, because I have listened to so many hours of this man speak. His interview style with Elon was almost confrontational. When he would ask him something, there's a difference between saying why and going, why? It's like, what? And it was almost like he was taking it like a pissing contest at one point. That he would ask Elon a question, Elon would be answering, Peterson would interrupt, start talking about his and this and that and the other and his works and him plugging his new book and his series about the Bible and different things like that. And I'm like, dude, stop it.
Yeah, I mean, he's just being disrespectful.
It was rude. But I noticed other things, which Peterson is usually not. I noticed that even as far as his voice, and I'm sure he speaks a lot, but as far as his voice sounded older, and not in a good way. Because as people age, they sometimes can get it's a very distinctive sound to an older person's voice. And I had noticed the other day that I had seen Peterson on something else, and I'm thinking, he doesn't look well.
So maybe he's just going through something that he's not talking about?
It could be, because he had developed an autoimmune disease. He had become addicted to benzos, and it's so crazy because benzodiazepine is something that is, prescribed to people commonly for depression, which is why he had gone and gotten the prescription. And then he became addicted, and he himself did not realize how dangerous that drug is. And so as he was trying to get off with the drug, it ended up that he had to go to Russia for treatment because he couldn't get proper treatment in the United States or Canada. It wasn't available.
Well, that's fucked up.
That's eye-opening.
Yeah. And usually, like, and he is a wealthy person. Mm-hmm. Wealthy people have better medical care than us
plebes.
Yeah. Podlings.
Serfs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that they would not help him, that means that definitely is eye-opening in the fact that they are actively going against him.
Sure. Well, he knew that before he got sick. But he has been doing this
but that's just another example
for a long time, and he has touted that is what is, helping with the autoimmune disease that he has. I think he has his daughter, I think I've heard him say that she has it also. He was, suggesting that Elon try it, and Elon was sort of like, I don't know about that.
Well, Elon doesn't need it.
No. But as far as Elon was saying something about having a back injury or different things like that because he's like 52, 53.
Uh-huh.
And so Peterson was suggesting that, and it's like,
that wouldn't help.
I don't know if Peterson's behavior during the interview, that was not a good advertising for the carnivore diet.
No.
But it was strange. It was infuriating because, like I said, I've sat and listened to hour upon hour. And this one I started last night, had to take a break, and I finally it took me like almost 24 hours to get through a 2-hour interview.
And it shouldn't have been like that whatsoever. It should have been a pleasant experience. But I don't know if it's because their zodiac signs are clashing, so that just means their overall beings were clashing.
It could be. It could be that it was something like that. But I will tell you this. Elon was very respectful. And I don't know, it was almost maybe Peterson was trying to impress him or something. I've seen Joe Rogan do this with Elon before. And it's just like, Rogan usually is not impressed by many people ever.
Yeah.
And it's not like Elon comes off as having this ginormous, ego or whatever. He seems like a cool dude.
Yeah. He does.
And he's got a sense of humor and would have laughed and cut up and different things like that. And Peterson was almost like he would squelch any of that.
Oh, well, from clips that you shown me before, he tends to be like that anyway.
And it's like, okay, are you wanting to, all right, and then I had to go back. What was the purpose of the interview? Did he want to learn about Elon, or did he want to psychoanalyze him?
I think in a way he wanted to psychoanalyze him.
Well, even from a clinical standpoint, it is never a good idea. And it's like, this man's got all the papers and he's got the letters. I certainly don't. But from just my podling experience, if you ask someone a question and they're answering the question and you keep interrupting them and do it in an antagonistic style, they're going to shut up. They're not going to tell you anything.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. That is one of the reasons why I don't, a lot of the time, watch Jordan Peterson. And I know you and Elijah, your oldest brother, listen to him a lot. To me, he always came off very, like you said, antagonistic and condescending sometimes.
Sometimes I can see that. I don't jive with that. It's not conducive to learning. Right.
I don't appreciate being talked down to.
Right. And that was the thing when he and Dr. Phil did the interview.
Uh-huh.
That was such a stark contrast. And I will tell you this, Dr. Phil, he wasn't, people, it's almost like, Jordan Peterson, he's way up here, he's intellect, he's the epitome of intellectual. And Dr. Phil, he does on TV.
Okay, but there are people that are smarter than dude that do not come off that way.
Exactly. They don't. But Dr. Phil, in his own little gentle Texas way, but as he held his ground, he is not a stupid man. I didn't realize that he had all the accolades that he does.
Yeah.
And I think that Elon, on some of it, you know, you could look at his facial expressions and he was sort of taken aback. I don't know that he's used to having people talk over him like that and almost challenge him.
To his face, nonetheless. I mean, the dude's also autistic.
Yeah.
So this is not something that he enjoys.
No.
Just in his nature, confrontation is not a good thing.
Right. And I think that it could have been done so much better. And I was really disappointed. It was almost like a lost opportunity.
It very much was a lost opportunity in a lot of ways. And that is disheartening.
But Elon was talking about, as far as someone did, a biography of him, but he has not yet done an autobiography. And I didn't realize he had said something about at one point in his life that he had an altercation that someone almost beat him to death. So I thought,
that's messed up.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's not like this man has not been through anything.
Yeah.
And some of the part that I wanted to hear was within the last 15 minutes, and I'm not even going to go about it because it is so controversial and stuff. But the pain on Elon's face was just so visible. And as far as him wanting to, that was one of the reasons that he bought Twitter and made it X, is he is on a, God made it personal to him to stop the woke virus, is his words on that.
Yes.
And Elon is, I don't know why, but he's on my heart a lot, and I do pray for the man.
Well, maybe God's doing something with him, and that's more than likely. And I, despite what people say, I don't know. He could be like a honestly cool, just down-to-earth guy, like how he appears a lot of the time.
I don't know. I mean, it's just, he's a person just like anybody else. But there are some interesting points in there. I will put the link there to the X thing that you can go on there and watch it. And if you want to sit there and go, Orlando, honey, it's just you. It's just you. It's where Pluto is getting ready to oppose Leo for 19 years.
Let me tell you that the energy,
that's kind of fucked me up.
The energy from that already is not. It is not it, Chief.
And people telling me it's like, oh yeah, the next 2 to 3 years, and I'm like, I don't know.
Okay, at first you said it was like 19 years, and then like 2 to 3 years. What?
Because that was mine. These were people who knew my chart.
Okay, so then with
believe
you,
it or not, there were some things that are
okay.
to me.
See, I didn't know that right there, that 2 to 3 years was the personal thing. Okay, so in that case, well, at least there's a time span as far as when it will sort of, calm down. So that is good.
And it's like here we did, it will be, when this uploads, it will be on the day of my birth, my solar return.
Yes. So.
I am not in party mode right now. I'm hoping that then Friday's video or something like that to be able, I'd like to think the energy would lighten up just a little bit.
But it's your birthday.
It's
your birthday, and it shall be celebrated by your children.
Yeah, well.
Because we are grateful that we have the mama.
Yeah.
Say happy birthday to her, y'all.
Yeah, and you'll probably get party highlights for the cup of coffee afterwards and stuff. And hopefully, Kid and I, at some point in the next couple of days, we'd like to go out and quest for Halloween. I need something other than...
This is Halloween.
I think everybody has had this steady diet of news, but there is so much shit that's going on that you sort of kind of have to... Some of us, it's our job to be aware of what's going on.
Yeah. I mean, the news that I do get, sometimes I'll look it up myself, but a lot of the time I'll hear from you or a oldest brother or other people talking about it. Other than that, I try to...
Situational awareness.
Smooth brain gang.
Situational awareness. All the time, everywhere you go.
Yeah.
This is one of those that my PTSD can work for me. And is it triggered right now? Yeah. So, final thoughts, kid.
Escapism.
Hey, you can play ostrich during this period of time, but if you stick your head in the sand, your ass is still hanging right out there.
I know.
I mean, that's just the reality of it. And this is a rough transit. You know? And that doesn't mean we're going to be serious every day. I couldn't stand that either. But this was just on my heart, and I just rolled with it.
Yeah, you need to speak about it.
Yeah.
At some point, it will be a soft landing.
I hope so. Well, it'll be a landing one way or the other.
We could be like Alice, falling down that rabbit hole, hitting stuff on the way down.
Well, I've been hitting stuff for so many years. Like I said, it's just a little bit weary.
But at the bottom of it, she still landed in the thing of hay or pillows or whatever it was.
Anyhow, if you've had experiences with paranormal, supernatural, encounters with UFOs, aliens, cryptids, tinfoil hats.
Anybody want a cat?
Oh, God. And you can send us an email, cupofcoffeewithscream@gmail.com. That's there in the description box. And like I said, I will put the link there on X so that you can go and listen to the interview. I don't know. And maybe I was disappointed because I have listened to so many hours of Peterson.
Maybe. It's disappointing to even hear, like, not even as a viewer. It's disappointing to hear.
Yeah, well, anytime you got an opportunity that's been lost, and some of us are more aware of that than others.
Yeah.
It's painful. It's painful to watch somebody else make bad decisions. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's their journey. Just gotta...
It is.
Let them do. You want me to do the outro? If you like this video, comment, like, share, subscribe. Check her out on BitChute and Rumble and YouTube at Orlanda's Cup of Coffee with Scream. Also, check her out on X, Orlanda, COCWS. Yeah. It's pretty cool on there.
Yeah. Know that you were loved. Prayers. All day, every day.
Thank
Somebody comes to heart, please pray for them. Treat other people the way that you would like to be treated.
And thank you all for joining us. Have a good...
Yeah. And Lord willing, we'll see you on the next cup.
Bye.
Bye.